So welcome back to the One Arm No Legs podcast. I'm Ryan O'Connor and I'm joined by my co-host.
Adam O'Connor, let's get this started.
Today we have a guest.
Phil McFall.
Nice to meet you, Phil.
Nice to meet you
guys,
too.
you too.
Could you explain just a bit about what you do, Phil, as well, for the audience?
So I work for a company called Usel, which is a disability organisation, and I suppose the purpose of what we do is to create jobs and assist people with disabilities back into employment. I've kind of been in this sector for about 10 years now.
Yeah.
And I suppose the company that I work for, Usel, holds all the beliefs that I have, that everybody who wants to work
Should
deserves
work.
that opportunity.
Yeah.
So I currently look after a program called Empower, and we have made a commitment, I suppose, to recruit 1,000 people over 2 years and assist 500 people, 500 of those 1,000 into employment, and not just any employment, but meaningful employment, so that they sustain them for long term as well.
Yeah.
So that's kind of me in a nutshell of where I'm at right now.
And you know, with the people who are trying to get the employment, do they get to choose what jobs they want? Yeah, or do you guys?
Of course, they have an absolute say. Yeah, they will have a certain skill set.
Okay.
I suppose it's up to us then to kind of find the right and appropriate employer to kind of match their skill set to that employer.
Yeah.
Because again, what we want to do is we want to create sustainable jobs.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's fair. Yeah, down to they can stay at the job that they want. Yeah.
But not even that. To equip people that if they want to move on after a year or two, they have the skills then to kind of be able to do that for themselves.
And do you help them out with CVs and stuff like that there?
That's
how
our
they
bread and
apply
butter.
and all that there?
Yeah, we help out with application forms, CVs, but we do a lot of personal development courses.
Yeah.
A lot of kind of skills matching and helping them identify where their skills lie.
Okay.
And then best matching that to certain employers. But it extends beyond just kind of CVs. We'll help people who have mental health problems.
Yeah.
And we'll signpost them to organisations that are kind of collaborating with us at the same time,
Yeah, if let's say someone comes in and wants to be in the creative industry, it's how would you format it, or how would you help them out in that sort of way?
That's a good question, and I suppose that's where Cine, that you're obviously a company too. So we obviously don't have a lot of experience in the creative industry market. So that's where what we'll do is we'll link in with Cine, who are experts in that field, and then we'll signpost certain people who have an interest in that market to the likes of Cine and link in, and we'll partner up to try and create opportunities in that sector. So there will be things that we don't have knowledge or expertise in, but we'll then link in with other organisations that do have that.
Okay. That's awesome. That's amazing. And then do you keep informed with them? Yeah, do you stay on board? Keep on tabs with the people who are
100%. Yeah. So like I said, whenever we help people move into work, part of our remit is to kind of provide in-work support. So that the employer can also, we'll educate the employer as well, so they can apply the appropriate reasonable adjustments.
Yes.
But reasonable adjustments will need to be changed ongoing,
okay.
So we will provide that ongoing support as a comfort for not only our participants, but also for the employer as well, so they're making the right decisions. Some employers are actually afraid to make certain decisions in case they're making the wrong ones. And that's where we come in and we educate and we support both parties.
I think I agree with you specifically on the whole adjustment, because as you say, with my condition, there could be days where I'm using my prosthetics, and it's, I'm getting a lift and all that there. Then maybe another day where I'm on the chair without the legs, and it's if the lift's out of order, what do I do here?
Yeah, exactly.
So I get that there side of things. So I think it's important to have that when it comes to that.
100%, yeah. And one of the challenges that we face, and you can quite see you have physical disability, and a lot of employers, because they can see the physical disability, they know what adjustments need to be made. But the challenge that we find with employers is the hidden disabilities.
Yes.
And that's where they maybe struggle with applying the appropriate reasonable adjustments. And then that's where we kind of really come in and educate and help them apply those reasonable adjustments. And then as things develop, as people progress through their careers, as conditions change, their reasonable adjustments may need to be adapted.
Yeah.
And again, that's where we again come in and help the employers, but also help the participants.
I think that's what it's about, adapting to each individual
100%,
separately, like so.
Absolutely, and you can never compare one individual to another.
Exactly.
Exactly that.
Yeah, and everybody's different. Everybody reacts differently, to certain things. And again, if you treat everybody as an individual, the value that you'll get is unreal, and it's very personal to me because. I have a son. He's 7, just turned 7 a couple of weeks ago, and he's autistic.
Right.
So I'm enthused and excited by the fact that companies like ours exist because he's going to need that assistance when he's older.
Absolutely.
When he goes into the world of work, because like at the minute he's autistic, but we don't know how much he actually knows or how much he's learning because verbally he doesn't communicate too much. He'll say bits and pieces. But we just are unsure of how much he actually knows.
Understands that.
And then sometimes he'll surprise me with certain things that he does or says. And I think, God, I didn't know you knew that, or didn't know you were taking that in. But I do know that whenever he's into the world of working age, it's going to be a challenge for him. And I think in our society, one of the biggest challenges is that you can have education right until you're 23, 24. But after that, it kind of the support then kind of
get rid of it. You're old enough, right?
100%,
You're old enough to do your own stuff now.
Exactly, and look, over at Usel we run another program called Skills for Life and Work. So that's for people with disabilities that are leaving school at 16. And maybe don't want to go to Belfast Met, or maybe don't want to go to kind of certain training organisations. They'll come to us and they'll learn, as it says, Skills for Life and Work. So it's a 3-year course. And they'll stay with us, and it's all preparing them for the next step after education. So the next step after education is that world of work. What does that look like? But then what they'll do, they'll transition onto my program, and we'll work with them to identify.
Okay, so they that's going to be my next question. Like, what happens after whenever you're like 16 or after you do the thing that you mentioned there, like what happens afterwards? Like they transfer to you then,
The good thing is at 16, 17, 18, there is options. But once you move into further education for another 3 years, it's after that it's where the options really die off or very scarce. And that's where we come in then, with our programs.
Well, I know it's funny you say that, like, because I'm nearly 30, like, and I'm still in education, like, but as I say, I'm sort of looking at my next steps in the industry of creative media, but it's finding the person or the people to talk to get into it,
You'll probably get a lot of no's. And more than yeses.
Especially in this industry, like you sort of expect it because they know a lot, and then eventually you just have to wait for that one big
and that's it.
Yes, and then like happy days.
And 100%, and you're right there, and that's where resilience comes in. And part of coming on the program is trying to build up people's resilience because you don't know when that opportunity is going to come about. So if you constantly keep getting those doors closed on you, that can lower your confidence and lower your demeanor. But if that happens and you let that affect you, when that door
as they semi-opens, it might close again.
It might close again because you weren't on it. And it's like you don't know when that golden nugget's going to come, so you just need to keep pursuing, and that's where resilience, and we do a lot of training around resilience, and and from my own personal expertise or personal kind of background is that I went for many jobs and got told no, but you get knockbacks. So it's just a case of, well, it wasn't for me. That's it.
Well, that's it. Like there is something out there for everyone. Like it's just finding the right.
I believe that. And it took me 15, 20 years to get into this specific sector. Because and that's where I wanted to get to. Like I said, it's personal to me. It's I don't look at it as a job. It's more of a vocation. It's how I treat it. And a lot of all the team that we employ, they all have a personal connection. And so whenever they bring people onto their caseloads or they work with people to get them to work, they genuinely care and are passionate about it.
Exactly.
And will actively challenge employers in a positive light, to give everybody that opportunity. And that's what I said. We firmly believe everybody who wants to work,
of course,
deserves that opportunity.
Of course.
But yes, we do a Skills for Life digital skills program where they're doing the podcasting and they're learning everything about digital arts and everything that goes with it. So that's over a period of 3 years. Now, I can't go into the technicals of it because I don't know.
That's it.
But on my program as well, we're doing a condensed, shortened version. So for people that are looking to build it or move into work or whatever, or don't have that background or skill set, we've brought an outside organisation in called BIMA.
Yeah.
So they're coming in and they're delivering like a 13-week program to a lot of our participants to give them some skills and access to the likes of Canva, how to create, kind of digital art. How to create. I actually listened to, before we come over here, some of the DJ sets that they'd kind of created, the sounds of it, and a lot of it was dance music. And I don't mind that because I like dance music, and then there was one that was heavy metal. I put it on for 3 seconds, like, oh god, not that. But so we put a condensed version on, and it meant then they could have a portfolio.
Of work for like people with CVs.
Yeah, because I think one of the best ways of actually trying to break into your industry is speculative. So approaching employers and saying, look, this is what I've done. Would you be interested in bringing me on for like a placement? One day a week or 2 weeks, and kind of showcase what you can do. And then the employer gets a bit of a flavour into, okay, this is what you can do. I actually like what you do, so I'm going to give you an opportunity.
Absolutely.
So that all kind of feeds into the digital kind of skills and arts and creative industry that we try and do. But we also have one of our partners, our partner organisations called Specialistern. So they're an organisation that kind of specialise in people who are neurodiverse. And they have set up an online platform with IBM. So they have so it means that our participants can log into IBM and it's all self-learning. But there's also tutor-led programs. And the one that's happening at the end of this month is AI. Which is a big thing now.
It's coming up.
It's coming to
exactly. I'm sure everybody knows about ChatGPT. And then there's the ones that build on that and build on that and build on that. But I'm very basic. I know ChatGPT and that's it. And then there's another one in the summer which is cybersecurity. So a lot of our participants will get access to that, through enrolling on our Empower program. But it means then they're getting something to kind of boost their CV with, and
that's
building their skills.
The skills there, then they can go out and say, "Listen, I've been able to do it this way."
Exactly.
Cybersecurity, can I help out?
That's
in some way or
And I think and I'm no expert, but I think cybersecurity is going like that.
Oh, I don't know. 100%.
It's crazy now, especially with AI too, because AI is easily using it now. It's been used to break stuff like that.
That's it, 100%.
So they have to up their game on the cyber side.
Exactly.
To save themselves.
That's why I'm afraid of going into online banking just in case of anything. Cybersecurity.
Is that right? So you're not in online banking?
I'm not online banking. I have the old card too, so I'm like...
I put it in,
put in my PIN.
Oh yeah? Oh wow, God. You do the same?
No.
I'm all online, No. I can't do the whole chip and PIN.
I'm the same as you, I'm all online. I don't even carry cash in me anymore.
I'm the same, my cash is completely everything's on my phone, so just tap the phone. So even...
I'm afraid of that now.
God, if I'm in a shop or supermarket or whatever and I see somebody putting the chip, I'm like, oh, come on.
You're going to see me, you'll be like,
that's you. You're like, Adam, come on, you're to code, where I just tap away I go.
Tapping away.
That's another topic, I suppose.
That'll be the next one.
That'll take us down a real rabbit hole. Exactly. 100%.
And then, like heading back to like in the workplace and stuff, with your son. In his with his future employment and stuff, would you go to that place that you mentioned there, like the people who specialize in neurodiverse? Would you think of that? Would you think, actually, I know these people? That they might help. Help him in the future.
100%. But even our own organisation, because we're a pan disability organisation, so we work with everybody with all disabilities. And we work with people with health conditions. So again, if somebody has a mental health condition, has been suffering from depression or anxiety for a long period of time, then they're eligible for our program. And what we're finding is that probably our numbers is probably 80% mental health. And I think that's the real pandemic. And that's kind of just went like that from COVID times. And people have just kind of coming back into kind of the work environment or coming back into society. The mental health has suffered greatly. And confidence levels has dipped greatly. So we're finding that we're dealing with a lot of people with mental health problems, and trying to kind of build them back up again and actually identify their own value, contribution they can bring to an employer. But yes, and your question about my son, so I'm just excited and enthused now that there is organisations out there that are helping. But I suppose to take us in a different direction, we're at a cliff edge at the minute as well. So we're funded by UK Shared Prosperity, which replaces the European Social Fund, ESF. So for a lot of organisations like ourselves, we're all kind of funded up until March 25. So we don't have an awful lot long left, less than a year.
Less than a year.
So at the minute, all that funding for all organisations like ourselves ends in March, and there's nothing there to kind of support that cohort of people who are coming out of school or coming out of kind of further education and trying to kind of move into work for people with disabilities. I know NICFA, who is our representative body for our sector, they're doing a lot of work with lobbying. And the good thing is there's ministers in place now, so hopefully, fingers crossed, we can get an extension to the funding. So that services like ourselves can exist and further develop. So that's where I do have some worry and kind of hesitancy. But if that kind of continues, then for the likes of my son when he's older and that, I'm genuinely excited and hope that he benefits from the support that I can see that we're delivering for our participants, you know, because like I said, there's that big, once further education ends.
Yeah, you're sort of stuck in.
People are just expected to move into work with ease. No. That doesn't happen. That's not real life.
No,
I think I was naive like that too. I had a backup plan where I would finish off my degree and stuff, so that was like the backup option. Hope for Cine, but I knew that there was only 10 places, so I thought 11. So let's sign up for for my BA honours and then try and get it.
No, absolutely. And even for people leaving university, like they have no work experience, so for them even that transition is difficult, you know.
Exactly, especially when you're going to apply for a job that they want experience in, you're like, how am I meant to get the experience without doing it?
You're 100% right. And one of the reasonable adjustments that we always enforce from the recruitment process is trials, is given work trials, but the work trials is more for our participants to see if they like it. Not for the employer.
That's fair to see if like the actual person actually enjoys what they're doing.
100%, but it means then the employer, the individual can showcase their talents.
Of course.
Without going through the interview process. The interview process, in my eyes, is flawed. I don't think it's
it can be.
100%. I think it's. I don't agree with it. You know, I don't think you get the true version. People are nervous. Understandably, you don't get the true sense of what they can do. You know, but whenever you actually put somebody in an environment where they can actually demonstrate, I think that's a much better process.
It's far easier, I think, if you've done it that way, because, like, as you say, you can sit there and tell people you can do these things, but to actually go and do them, it's two different things. Like
100%, and people can deliver a good interview.
That's
and when you get them in,
they can't
do the work.
And that's happened, you know. And I've experienced that myself, where I brought people in and you thought, God, that's a really good interview. You know, they've told me everything they could do. This is brilliant. But very much so, the actions have been very different, you know, which is kind of, okay. And for us, for what we do, it's key for me to make sure we bring the right people in.
Of course.
And that they have a passion and enthusiasm for that.
Absolutely.
Because if they don't, then for me, that it's going to be an uphill struggle for them. And it's not going to work out, you know. So they have to have a real, and like I said, it's took me 15 years to get into this sector, you know, because originally I'm from a kind of retail call center background.
And
that was hard work. That was hard work.
I done the same, sir, as well.
Did you?
I did it for about 3 months. And I was like, nope,
not for you.
Not for me.
Well, that goes back to what I said previously. You know, you give it that time. You give it that 8 to 12 weeks. You know, to say, right, you know what, this really is.
It's not me at all.
What type of retail was it?
It was gay customer service for the internet now.
Oh, was it?
I think I done more selling than I did fixing.
Oh, did you?
For them over the phone. They were like, because it's especially, you know, God love them, the older ones that don't really know technology as well, and you're just like, I'll just sell them something. You know, I'll just sell them something because I can't explain it without actually being there. You know, that's where I'm good at. I could be there. To do it and sit there and do it, but to actually explain it, it's a different story.
That's tough,
not a clue.
Difficult. I know. Well, my call center experience was I was outbound sales, so I was kind of business to business sales. And that. Now I enjoyed it. I didn't mind it. You know, you have to enjoy sales and stuff like that. But I remember sitting there, and like I said, call center. You know, call center nowadays are kind of nice and airy and spacious and stuff like that. But back when I worked in, they're like a, you know, you had your booth, it's a bit like a chicken factory. You know,
always square.
Exactly.
That's your office.
And I had seen people coming in, and obviously you could see they're struggling for sales, and you can just see their soul just leaving their bodies, and they're just like, you know, and they're thinking, God, you hate this, and you're like, I absolutely despise it. But I didn't mind it. You see, I suppose if you could get past the receptionist, you know, and actually get to speak to the decision makers, it was a good process. But working with the public can be difficult. difficult. It can be difficult.
I know how it is.
Yeah, but I suppose at retail and call center, that's where you definitely build up resilience.
That's it. You do tolerance.
100%.
Build up your tolerance.
And I think even from me, so in retail, because I work for a company called Tate Baker in Victoria Square, and they really focused on development.
Okay.
Staff, so they were always key on making sure that if I come in as a sales assistant, I was being developed and trained that I could then climb that ladder if I wanted to. And I whenever I was kind of moved up and then was able to apply that to staff coming in. I kind of realized I actually enjoy training and developing people. And that's kind of where that kind of came from. And I thought myself from retail, because my first daughter, she's 12. I remember she was born, I was working in retail, and for her first year, I was kind of away 12 hours a day, so I was missing quite a lot. So I thought, no, I need to get out of retail, but I knew that I wanted to kind of assist people and help, and then that's kind of a search for different jobs out there until I seen the right one, and it was working with people who were out of work and who were long-term unemployed, not necessarily have a disability or anything, but long-term unemployed and just didn't know how to kind of get back into work. And I knew, this is where I'm meant to be. I love this line of work, and then even taking that one step further was going to Usel and working with people with disabilities.
Especially people with disabilities and stuff like that there, like the neuro thing as well. There's a lot of people out there says stuff about equality and I get that 100%, but when it's equality, you don't really hear much about disabilities. It's always about, everything else, and it's like, we deserve a shot here.
100%,
Just because we're, different or, differently able, as I like to call it.
That's a nice term, actually.
It's, we deserve a shot too.
100%, and that's, it always goes back to my own tagline, everybody who wants to work deserves an opportunity. 100%, and that's the key thing. And part of our criteria for bringing people onto our program, so our program is voluntary. So ultimately the end goal is you want to work, right? It's to get you a job, right? But I don't care if somebody is so far removed from the labour market it takes them 12 months to get a job. But if they engage with the process, it's a much better process. We have said no to people coming to our program because they're more capable and they're job ready, but the attitude's not there. So yes, I can get you a job next week, but because your attitude's all off, we're not going to take you on. You're not good fit for us, So and that's what I'm saying. So I don't care what the disability is or how far away you are from the labour market or the job market. If you're wanting to engage in the process and you're willing to learn, then all day long, come on. And like I said, our officers, our support officers, employment support officers will go out and meet with people 2 and 3 times just to make sure, yes, you're engaged and you're committed. And then we work with the individual at their pace to see what it is they want to do, and we'll work out goals and stuff. And then you start to understand the true value of what the employer can do for you, but then also what you can contribute to the job. 100%, But that's key. But people's goals, I would never kind of run them down. Ever, 100%.
No, I think there is, as you say, there is unrealistic things. Like, as you say, you can't go from there to there like that. You sort of have to build on it, the whole time. So I totally understand that, but it doesn't mean that main goal isn't achievable.
100%, yes, and that's it. And I knew what I wanted to do, but I had to do my own steps to get there, to get to Usel and get to what I wanted to do. And thankfully at the time when I went to Springvale, they gave me an opportunity because I had development and training experience. I didn't have, I had experience of interviewing people as well and recruiting. But didn't have that kind of knowledge of people who were long-term unemployed and developing them and trying to get them into work. So Springvale gave me that opportunity, and I was able to hone my skills, and then they developed me as well. And that meant then coming to Usel, I was kind of a lot more equipped. I had that background, that skills, but again, I had those steps to get to, so, and I'm thankful for it. I really am, because like I said, it's a vocation.
Of course.
Of course. And one of the things, I obviously manage the program now, so I don't have as much interaction now with the participants, so I miss that. My job is actually a lot easier now because I have so many good people on the ground doing that support. It just makes my job easy. But one thing I do miss is I miss interacting with participants and seeing their development. But I suppose I get to see it on a wider scale. I see everybody, because we cover the whole of Northern Ireland, the north, whatever you want to call it. But we cover the whole all areas, and we have kind of support officers in every part.
Of course.
And it's great to see how each of the support officers have kind of developed that area and made a name for themselves.
Yeah.
And actually approached employers in those different kind of areas and created those employment opportunities for our participants. You know, that's.
So do you do it like up Derry direction and all too, as Corrine and all?
Aye, yeah, we do.
Right,
absolutely,
okay.
yeah. So we have a big presence up in Derry as well. One of our partners. So our Empower program is built up of a consortium.
Okay. Yeah.
So we've got ourselves, Disability Action, and Specialist Stern. We're the three kind of organisations that are delivering the Empower program and helping people with disabilities move into work. So up in Derry, Disability Action and ourselves have a big presence up there. Yeah. And then we've also got a decent presence up in Coleraine. I've just brought somebody on for Coleraine, and she's had to go to the ground running, and she's brilliant actually. Yeah. But we cover everywhere. Yeah. Now obviously Belfast takes a lot of it. But we try and make sure that anything we do. So we run employment academies.
Okay.
So what we'll do is we go to an employer who has maybe a particular recruitment need.
Okay, yeah.
And we'll say, look, we're going to run an academy. So to give you an example, I'll use an example of Be Perfect, right? So you may not have heard of them, have you?
Yeah.
Right, I didn't hear them before, but they're makeup, right?
Makeup,
so you have heard of them?
No, I haven't heard of them.
Yeah,
No,
so a huge fan of that show.
Yeah, they're a massive brand, right? But I didn't have a clue about them. I really didn't have a clue. So, but one of my employment engagement officers had kind of built up a link with them. Yeah. And they have a recruitment need for warehousing. So what we'll do is we'll approach them and say, look, how many do you need for warehousing? And they said this, we need 15 people. I says, right, okay, well, look, tell you what we'll do. We'll run the recruitment academy if you ring fence those 15 jobs for people with disabilities. Yeah. So they says, right, okay, that's fine, that's no problem. I said, look, all we're asking you to do is that you give them a guaranteed interview. You don't have to give them the job, but I said, if you give them a guaranteed interview and if they're impressed, then you take them on. Yep. So over a week long, we'll do like personal skills development. We'll work on interview skills, and then we'll put them through accredited manual handling training, accredited health and safety training, because that was the request of the employer. Yeah. Because they need to have that, you know, in the employer. And then at the end of the week, they'll do an interview with Be Perfect. And part of the reasonable adjustments for Be Perfect was that they gave us interview questions, so we could share them with the participants. So it meant they were better equipped and actually get less nervous and actually give a better version of themselves. Yeah, and Be Perfect employed all 15, you know, and we're actually running another one starting Monday. But I actually met with them last week and we did, and so like I said, we do the in-work support. So I met with them last week and I was putting all the in-work support. So each person will have a in-work support officer. Yeah. And it'll be personal to them. So I was in there setting that all up. But what I was kind of really enthused of was that when I was speaking to one of the girls, Lorraine, who's their kind of manager, she knew all of them. So it's about 5 weeks in, and she knew them all, each individual. And it took her 4 to 5 weeks, as I say all the time. But she knew what their triggers were, what maybe upset them, or maybe what
angered them and stuff.
And she was so patient. Yeah. And I thought, my God, this is really good. Really good. Yeah. And she gave me a tour of the warehouse, and I met some of the participants as well. And I had bowled over. So when you go in, they have different sections, different stations, right? So they have a TikTok station, and they have this like something like this here where they have a camera all set up. Yeah. It's their TikTok shop. So literally they have the lights go and the DJ happening, and they've got these two people selling on TikTok.
On TikTok.
So but then there's people viewing them, asking questions, saying what makeup or what moisturizer goes with this. And they're asking the questions, and then next minute they're saying, right, okay, Chloe, here's your moisturizer going into here's your makeup going into the bag, that's being posted, and then they'll show the guys working away, picking and packing. Yeah. But one of our we had a few females who did the Warehouse Academy, and are now going to progress onto the TikTok.
So
they're doing it or on the TikTok.
On the TikTok, now they also have one for Instagram as well. So it's a bit like a QVC channel on TikTok. You know what I mean? Yeah. But they're actively selling and stuff like that, and then you can see the people, picking and packing and then it all being shipped. And I was bowled over, but what Be Perfect do, and like I said, it's specific employers that we work with. Yeah. And I'm enthused again that we're going to do another academy, so they'll bring them in through the warehouse. Yeah. But if they I suppose showcase certain talents or certain attributes, they'll move them into the marketing team, or they'll move them into the TikTok shop, or they'll move them upstairs into the kind of HR if there's opportunities there. So it's not just warehouse, but it's opportunities throughout their whole business. Yeah. And if you think about Be Perfect now, I've only learned this over the last few weeks. So they're huge. They're multi global. Do you know what I mean? So and they're selling throughout the whole world, and they've got retail shops all around the place now, all around the UK as well. I think they're opening up in Dubai and everything as well. Yeah. So, but it's those type of employers that we'll seek out. And we'll run employment academies for our participants.
Yeah.
Now, not gonna lie, don't get me wrong, a couple haven't worked out because a couple went in there and realised because it's not for them. Like, that's fine, no problem.
Like, it's not for them, it's not for them.
No.
At least they gave it a shot, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
At least,
100%. And it's all about the opportunity. You know what I mean? They had the
exactly.
opportunity and they decided, you know, it's not for me. And you're like, well, that's okay, let's work on, get you something else. Yeah, you know.
Of course.
But that's good though. That's good that you have that as well, or we have that as well, because, you know, people like myself, like if I was leaving school now, I wouldn't know where to look to.
That's it, yeah. No, you're 100% right,
You know, as I say, now that I know that this stuff's available, at least other people can now find out that's leaving school.
Absolutely.
That maybe have a disability. And
oh God, yeah,
you know.
yeah. I would say to anybody, look, if you're at that crossroads and you're leaving school, you've got a disability and you're unsure of what to do next, just go to our website.
Yeah.
And we have a multitude of programs. You know, Empower being an employability program, but if somebody wants further education for another 3 years, then they can go on to our Skills for Life work program. You know, and look, we just finished up a employability program up in Cookstown.
Yeah.
Where there's it was for people with learning disabilities.
Yeah.
And it was a 13-week employability program. It's a day opportunity centre up in Cookstown. And we went up once a week and delivered kind of employability sessions, different theme every week. But at the end of that 13 weeks, we did a big massive graduation ceremony.
Right.
And they all had certificates and everything else.
Yeah.
They lot of them, they haven't graduated before.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. They've never done it before.
it was actually just this week, and the parents come in and they had their full gowns, you know, and the hats and stuff. And there was tears everywhere, you know, because of what they're
able to produce.
What they achieved, you know. And then what we'll do is at the end of 13 weeks, we'll say, right, let's now see if we can kind of find you some form of employment.
Exactly. Yeah.
And for us, it could be 1 hour a week, 2 hours a week, 4 hours a week, it could be full time. Doesn't matter.
But that's good that you know, you just don't forget them after they do the course. It's
No.
Because a lot of ones out there do that.
Yeah.
You do the course, you get the certificate, that's it.
No.
They could be like,
It's
have
good that you
fun
sort of
later.
have,
Yeah, I know.
you sort of have the connections basically to say, right, we've done the training, let's get you sorted now. Say you went out and got a job, say for someone, do you negotiate the hours for them, or do you say like, oh, this guy only wants to work for an hour, or this girl only wants to work part-time, or this guy wants to work full-time?
Yeah, there can be negotiation there, yeah. Sometimes we'll go to an employer if, say they have a job that's going for, say, 20 hours a week, and we say, well, look, we've actually got 2 participants who would be really good for that job, but couldn't do the 20 hours, could you job share?
Yeah.
So could they do 10 hours and could the other one do
Could
10
do
hours?
that, like,
So job share is an option there too.
Yeah. So there's we'll negotiate with all employers. Now, if there's jobs that are advertised for, say, 24 hours a week or 30 hours a week, sometimes the employers won't negotiate because they can't. That's the need of the role, if you know what I mean. So then we'll just say, right, okay, well, this is not going to work out for my participant, if you know what I mean. But there is, like I said, negotiation that can be had.
Dealt with.
Yeah, 100%. And like I said, job sharing is a good outcome for us because it means then we're getting 2 people, you know, meaningful work and sustainable work, and it means then it suits them, suits the employer because the hours are getting covered and the work's getting covered.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, you know, so it's a really good amicable solution, you know, to the issue. But yeah, we'll negotiate.
So what happens if you get like a job share thing and then one of the participants doesn't feel right for the job? Like, what way does it work? And does that other person still
they'll still carry
retain
on.
their hours?
100%, yeah. So and then we'll work on trying to get somebody else in then for that, you know. So like I said, over kind of the 2-year period, we're with our program, we're recruiting 1,000 people onto the program over a 2-year period, you know, with our multiple employment support officers throughout the country. So again, we'll have extensive caseloads.
Yeah.
So we could have within that job share, we could maybe have 4 people applying for that. Only 2 get the job, you know. But then if somebody doesn't like it or pulls out, then we can maybe suggest
The 3rd or 4th one.
yes, you know. So and that's it, you know. And again, I always go back to we try and give as well the employer as much choice as possible.
Absolutely.
And then they obviously pick the 2 that maybe do the best in that recruitment process. And then for the other ones, they're better experienced because of been through that interview process or whatever. And then we'll try and find them something else. But again, if that was somebody was to fall out, then we can maybe, so again, with the Be Perfect one, we were able to backfill a couple that didn't like it. So we said, well, look, what about these 2 that that you interviewed, but can you give them a go? So they've now gave them a go. And that's it, because we had 20 for the Be Perfect Academy, but we could only get 15 jobs. But again, we were able to put the other 5 that didn't get the job, we were able to put them through that mental health training, accredited training,
The TikTok
and health
thing.
and safety and stuff like that, and then they could put that on their CV and apply for other roles, you know.
Of course.
So again, everybody's getting something.
Yeah.
And then whoever doesn't get that job at that time, then we'll try and get them somewhere else that that's within their locality and that they want to do at the same time.
But I take it you still keep in touch with the ones that don't get the job, like.
Oh, they stay on our program. They stay on our program.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they'll keep getting developed then, and we'll attend maybe other academies or other training that we do. So because we have a training team as well, so we've got our employment support officers that will map out with the individual what their next 12 months journey is going to look like.
Yeah.
What their goals are. So we'll do goals for every 8 weeks. So what you want to achieve in 8 weeks, and then after that.
Okay.
So the support officer will then map out in collaboration what the next 12 months are going to look like, what they need to do in terms of work and everything else. And then we have a training team that will apply one-to-one training or group training or even online training through teams if need be. And that will be personal development. Really.
Like teams.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of
It's
teams.
well known. So
Yeah.
I had to do a thing a couple of months ago on Teams, and
Teams. Yeah,
I could hear him, but he couldn't hear me, and my volume and everything was grand. So I was just like, can we not do it face to face or over the phone? Jesus.
I know, it goes back to what I said earlier. Technology is great when it works. You know,
technology is great when it
exactly.
works, but if it doesn't, then
it doesn't. Yeah. You're kind of like, oh god, here we go. But no, I'm very much.
Trash.
Yeah, right, exactly. That's what I do. But I'm very much a face-to-face guy.
Yeah,
you know,
so I'm exactly the same.
I'm the same. Yeah.
I think it has the most impact.
I think it does. I think your confidence seems better. I think face to face too.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're over a webcam or over the phone, it's like, I mean, I don't really know who I'm talking to.
Yeah, I know.
You know.
I know. One of our sometimes we'll do like, and I won't kind of name teams or organisations or names and stuff like that, but sometimes we'll do calls with our organisations to talk about what we do. Right? So I'll go on, I'll sell, obviously Usel and what we do and what we're all about, and then you're delivering to a team of people.
Yeah.
But then all you see is black screens.
That's so you don't know whether they're actually there or not.
Drives me mental. It drives me. It's like going into. It's like me coming in here to talk to you guys and hiding on that table.
Exactly.
It drives me absolutely bonkers. But look, there's space for it, and the reason for that is like, you know, a lot of our participants, especially from neurodiverse backgrounds, are comfortable in their own homes and backgrounds. So what we'll do is we'll initially meet them on Teams, and then try and progress them in the face-to-face environment. You know. But we'll do that to start off with, and then hopefully that they build a rapport and a relationship, and they feel confident and comfortable enough to kind of meet us face to face then. And then after that, we try and progress into some group training. Because that's when you really get development.
With the group.
Yes, with the group.
Plus it helps them socially too.
Socially, exactly. And then they're bouncing off for.
I think as well when it comes to work.
Absolutely.
Especially like, you know, one of the big things is being able to be like, as you think about Christmas nights out and stuff like that there, it's important for the person to be comfortable with their people around them, like, you know, so.
But it's not even, it's also a responsibility of the employer to make sure that if somebody is not comfortable around people, that they can apply those adjustments. And for our own organisation, so our organisation, so it's twofold. So we have employment services, right? Which is what I do and stuff. But then we also have a factory. So we recycle mattresses. So we divert so much kind of mattresses from landfill. I don't know the exact numbers, so my CEO will probably kill me for that. But so all the mattresses come into our warehouse, our factory. Yeah. And what happens is the outer laying of the mattress gets all stripped down.
Right.
The foam all gets taken out, and then the springs all get snipped down and melted. And all those components get shipped out to different parts of the UK for further use. And then we also have shredding. So we'll shred confidential waste. So if you ever see in civil service building or even our own buildings, you know, you've got those wee kind of bins that you put the confidential paper in. So we'll collect that, and it comes back to our warehouse, and then we'll shred all that. And then we also have industrial sewing. So if you think about the ambulance service and the fire service, they're bags. So we manufacture them.
Right. Okay.
Very cool.
One of the things is that in our factory, 70% of the staff have a disability.
Awesome.
So
amazing.
We're a non-profit organisation, so any money that we make goes into creating jobs for people with disabilities.
That's amazing.
So, but it goes back to the point where our employers have a responsibility for people who maybe don't thrive in those social environments or want to have much dialogue. So we've taken on a guy who he's autistic and doesn't like to kind of converse much at all. But his attention to detail is amazing. Is really, really good. So what we do is he comes in and he sits at his desk and he has set tasks to do every single day, and he just works his way through them and sends his report through to his manager, and then they communicate via email or on Teams. That's the way he likes to communicate.
Okay, fair enough, yeah.
But because his work is brilliant and his attention to detail, he misses nothing.
He's like,
An adjustment for us that's no problem.
yeah.
Well, that's what
he's
you call
doing
an
no-
adjustment there,
Yeah,
as you
but
say.
if he doesn't want to go to a social event, that's no problem.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's fine, you know. But he'll always be invited, you know.
of
Yeah,
course, of
exactly.
course.
Yeah, 100%. So I think yes, it's important for employers to take that responsibility on and accept it.
But he's good at his job though, like
Yeah.
with the set task, he's doing it to but to fine tooth comb.
100%, yeah. And the accuracy of his work is unreal, you know, and to get that level of value and contribution from him,
exactly.
and just apply those reasonable adjustments, that's no problem for us, you know. And like I said, he's happy enough in his own company. And one of the things for my own that I found hard to accept actually with my own son is that he's so happy in his own company.
Yeah,
You know,
that's fair.
and for me, I was always, you know, at the early stages, was trying to get him involved and come on down, you know, and
I know what you mean.
But he was like, no, you know, he's
No,
like,
don't worry.
and that's the hardest thing for me as a parent was to accept that he's happy in his own environment, he's happy being on himself, and I'm like, just leave me, you know, and that was it. So for me, learning from him has allowed me to apply
The
certain
other
things.
side.
That if people are happy in their own kind of environment, that's fine. That's dead on. You know, and like I said, for that guy that works for us, he does an amazing job. His attention to detail is brilliant, and the reasonable adjustments we were applying, it's no cost to us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's very, very easy, and that's what sometimes employers think reasonable adjustment is going to cost the world. It's not.
I know, it's just like the real.
That bugs me a lot too, because you think, Jesus Christ, I just need an adjustment.
It's literally like one wee thing to move. There we go. That's your reasonable adjustment.
And that's like I had one client of mine before, one participant. He was autistic, but he was always late. Every morning he was always late, and he wouldn't tell the employer. He didn't feel comfortable and stuff. So the employer was giving off to me, and I was like, look, right, well, let me have a chat. There's obviously something there, right? It's not just because he wants to be late. So when I spoke to him, he was maybe embarrassed. He was hesitant to tell me. I was like, if you don't tell me, we can't fix it. You know. And then he says, look, I can't leave before the house at a certain time until I make my bed, and I can't make my bed any earlier. I was like, that's his brain, that's his function.
That's the way his brain.
I was like, right, okay, that's fine. So I back to the employer. Says like, can you start him at 9:30? Why? I was like, this is the reason why. And he says, you may not understand that, but in his head,
he has to do that.
I says, if you move him to 9:30 to 4:30, 5:30, that fixes the issue. He says, that's all I need to do. I think that's all you need to do.
Yeah,
Just do that. And it was nothing. Didn't cost a penny.
Thank God.
You know, he was early every single day, you know, and then he worked on, and it was grand. It was an easy fix.
Yeah.
Some are a bit more difficult, yes, and that's where it comes us into do a bit of negotiation. So, for example, I had a lady, another participant of mine who had MS, you know, and spina bifida, and I inherited her as a client, and I come in and she's working at a desk all day, but her wheelchair wasn't fit for purpose really, or the desk wasn't fit for purpose, so she had to kind of maneuver herself out of her wheelchair into a normal chair because the wheelchair wouldn't fit on the desk. So she would do that, but that process. So I says, right, okay, you're doing that, okay. I says, right, and she says, I said, why are you not down having your lunch with the rest of the team? And she says it takes too long to get out of her seat. And I was like, right, okay. Didn't drink water all day because
she didn't want to use the bathroom.
Yeah.
And I was like, look, this can't be happening.
There's like torturing part.
100%, yeah. So one day I met her when she was coming into work, and I wanted to see the process of her getting out of her chair into another chair. Out of her wheelchair into a normal chair. And I took her about half an hour. And I thought to myself, this is ridiculous. I said, no, you can't be doing this. So obviously I went and spoke to the manager and stuff like that and said, look, this needs to change. We need to get her an adjustable desk because she's not drinking water or whatever have you. And just, I said, humanely, I can't let this lie. And neither could she, but she didn't understand. She didn't realise because she wasn't communicating. The client wasn't communicating. And she just thought this was okay for her to do. And I says, no, it's not. No.
I mean, that's a health and safety thing too.
100%, yeah. So when it came to it, like I was able to get I was able to liaise with the Department of Communities, and they were able to come in and do an assessment. So they did a full-on kind of clinical assessment and says, right, okay, I made recommendations. So the recommendations were that she get a raised desk, and then they were able to fund some of it.
Oh, is this like an
so
OT
it's through
thing?
access to work, so they were able to fund some of it, and then the employer paid for the rest. If that makes sense. So depending on the size of the employer, you can apply for a thing called access to work. So the employer then they funded some of it, and then the department funded the other. But it meant then the client was coming in and she was able to stay in her wheelchair, and she was able to kind of raise it up
better,
and up and down, and then she was able to come in. And then on part of that, we were able to kind of get her a couple of carers to come in once a day, twice a day, to kind of help her with the bathroom and stuff like that. So, so adjustments there is adjustments out there. But again, like I said, once you break it down, once you have likes of us, we know kind of how to navigate that that process.
Yeah.
Some employers are a bit more like, oh my God, I don't know, and think it's going to cost thousands and thousands.
Yeah.
You're thinking, no, it's not the case. It's not. So there's adjustments out there that can, but there are few and far between those ones.
Of course. No.
The easier ones, like I say, is the ones I've just described.
Yeah.
And again, it came down to communication, where another one of my clients had finished a project and went to his boss and said, look, I've finished. And the boss said, right, okay, can you come and see me later? So the client literally walked to the one end of the room and back to him. And in his head, that was later. And I was like, look, you need to be specific with your language. I said, you need to say, come and see me in 30 minutes, or come and see me at 2:30. I said, you have to be
literal.
Yeah. So, but for him, that was a bit of adaptation. You know, he had to kind of, because just so used to.
Oh yeah, but anyone that come in later, that means like give me like maybe 2 hours down so I can do my work.
Exactly. And look, I catch myself out with my own son. You know,
you're just used to it, aren't you?
Yeah, he's literal, and then sometimes like, oh God, Jesus, and I kind of adapt my communication to him.
Yeah,
you know, I'll ask him questions and he'll tell me answers he thinks I want to hear.
Yeah,
and I'm like, no, I need to know what actually happened or whatever. You know, I said, what did I learn in school today? Phonics. And I'm like, what else did you do? Phonics. So he thinks that's what I want to hear. But so I need to adapt my kind of communication style to him as well. And sometimes when I think I've nailed it, I'm like, no, I need to change that again. You know.
Yeah, no, I get that. Like, well, like I think the work you do is fantastic.
Oh,
like,
amazing!
Everything. I think you've covered everything I had questions about. You know, like from everything from them graduating to actually getting a job and supporting them along the way. You know, there's not many out there that do that over here. Like, and as I say, you seem to be one of the up and coming ones that are actually going and saying, you know what, people deserve a shot.
100%.
We're going to do it for them.
Look, the key thing for us is we love doing what we do.
Of course.
And Usel has been around for 150 years. So we're probably one of the best kept secrets about there, you know. But like I says, it's something I love, something the team love. And again, we back up what we say. We get people with disabilities in the work, but we also employ people with disabilities.
I think the fact as well that you love doing it as well helps big time. Like,
100%, and even more so now. It's more personal to me now with my son.
You know? Oh, no, that's perfect.
Well, thank you for coming, Phil.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
No, thanks very much for the invite.
We both appreciate it.
It's been great.
It's been really good.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Do you want to sign off?
Yeah. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. For come back to hopefully watch the next few episodes with us. Thank you again. Thank you so much, Phil.
Thank you for having me.
Phil, do you want to give your website out too, just so people can hear?
Yes. Look, if you're interested in any of the work that we do, just kind of go onto our website, which is usel.co.uk. You'll find a range of our programs there, and there's also if you just email it, kind of pmcfall@usel.co.uk. So that's pmcfall, MCFALL. If you want to reach out to me personally, or you can just go through the website. 100%.
Happy days.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Dead on. Thanks very much.
Love to meet you.
Yes, you too. Dead on.